What's up, Discmaniacs? Gannon Buhr here with Team Discmania, here for my official 2024 In the Bag. I putt with the Exo Hard Link. These white ones have been money the whole season. I wiped them and got them customized, just Sharpied all over them, but I think they look pretty clean. The Link actually, I've been liking it as the season's gone on more and more, every single tournament pretty much. My putt has switched a little bit this year to a little bit more of a spin putt. Last year I was definitely doing more of a push putt, kind of up and down, but I'm getting more spin this year. It's helped for kind of that 45-foot range, makes it easy to get to the basket. And I like the shape of the Link. It's got a nice bead on the bottom of it, which I enjoy because I grip my fingers like that when I putt. And yeah. It's got good depth to it, pretty much the perfect depth I'm looking for a putter. Nice flat top and very versatile. Pretty straight with a reliable little bit of a fade at the end. And so I'm liking the Link. That's what I've been putting with the entire year so far. But stay tuned for what's coming soon. Now we're gonna move on to my throwing putters. I carry 3 in my bag right now. So I also throw the Exo Hard Link. This one right here has been beat up a little bit. I probably rotate these every couple months, maybe 1 to 2 months. I don't like them too flippy or too understable. And you know, when they hit trees, they get kind of lumpy. I don't like that either. So I'm a little bit picky when it comes to that. But this one's been flying pretty good recently. I like to put on a little bit of hyzer, have it kind of pop up and ride a little bit to the right. Or if I need kind of a nice nose up, soft approach shot, I'll be using the Exo Hard Link. Yeah, they just feel amazing for throwing. This one specifically is a glow lumen Link. It's a little bit stiffer than most Links, and that's what I kind of enjoy about it. Beats up real nice. If you like beaded putters, throwing and putting, the Link is my personal favorite choice that Discmania has to offer. I know Alden, Gavin, they both putt with the Link as well, and so it's very popular among the Discmania pros. Next up in my throwing putter lineup is, I'd say, my favorite throwing putter I've ever had, which is the S-Line P3X. This thing has been in my bag the entire year so far. I think one of my only discs it has been. It's just been trustworthy the whole time. I actually received it beat up from a friend, John Luce, so thank you very much. But yeah, it still is just dead straight with a little bit of fade the entire flight. I've been loving it for nice like nose up approaches that come out on a little bit of anhyzer, and they fight out really nice, land pretty soft. If I need a straight forehand, I'll throw it. Don't do that too often. But yeah, my favorite shot with it's definitely anhyzer out of the hand, kind of panning to flat the entire way. It's just been money. It's been the low profile I've been looking for. I can throw this full power, definitely can get it close to 400 feet, and it just never even thinks about being weird. It always stays consistent, and that's my favorite part about it. I think with the Exo Hard Link and the P3X, I have straight to understable and straight to overstable, so I can pretty much get whatever flat I want out of a putter. This is definitely one of my most used discs in my entire bag. Next up for my final throwing putter is the Lux Vapor Tactic, signed by Mona from La Pizzeria in Estonia, my favorite pizza place. But this thing is money. I only throw this forehand. Now, I've never really been someone to only throw a disc one way, but for this one, I'm very specific. It's got a little bit of a puddle top to it, and so it feels really good for forehand. And the only thing it's useful for is just straight sidearms. Or if I want a sidearm approach on a hillside, maybe land it a little bit softer, it's a little easier to slow it down that way. But I shape angles with this one all the time, just ripping dead straight forehands that push forward, carry straight. A little bit of anhyzer, it does have some stability, so it'll come out of it, but I've never really had a disc like this in my bag, and so it kind of opened up a new shot in my bag. Definitely saved me strokes this year so far. I'm really loving this one. Definitely go try out the Tactic. It's unique. Moving on to the mid-ranges, here we have the Lego dyed Gannon Buhr MD5 in the S-Line plastic. Thank you to Diamond Disc Dyes for this one. I know I put a lot of hard work into this die and it looks incredible. This thing has been very overstable, which I like. I've bagged both the C-Line and the S-Line MD5 this season. I'm not really sure which one I like better right now. I just have the S-Line in the bag. The S-line I have noticed is considerably more overstable than the C-line consistently, but maybe not as durable as the C-line, so you can kind of sacrifice whichever one you want. But right now, this one's been amazing for the last month about. I threw this a ton at Ledgestone to get that win, and it's just been clutch. So this disc is basically a longer, more overstable version of that tactic. I do throw this backhand a lot as well. Just very overstable. I can rip it on a lot of anhyzer, and it's always gonna fight out of it. And then forehand, I also do the same thing. Anhyzer, have it come out of it. It's been pretty reliable. I can throw this about 400 feet consistently if I need that distance. I usually don't. I usually try to keep it within 350 to 300. But yeah, if it's windy outside or if I have a lot of room to kind of throw wherever I want, I'll just throw kind of a spiky shot with the MD5. But yeah, this actually probably is my most used disc in my bag, because any approach I have, it's pretty much just an MD5 approach. It's been money this whole season, and I get a little bit more carry out of it than other overstable approach discs, so that's why I like this one. It's more versatile. I don't bag that many discs, and this kind of gets the job done for a lot of different shots. Next up in the lineup is my Color Glow MD3. This is specifically the Iron Samurai 3 run, which has a little bit of dome, a little stiffer, a little more overstable, which is what I'm looking for. Alden drew this Minecraft drawing on it, which is pretty cool. But this one's been beat up. This one stayed in the bag for most of the year. I took it out for a little bit, but then I realized I needed it back. This one's been money because if I throw hard flat, I can get a little bit of a turn, just barely, and it kind of just rides the line however I throw it. But if I need like a swooping hyzer mid-range shot, I'll probably throw this, even like a straight forehand if I ever need to pull that out. But yeah, I'd say this is probably my favorite run of MD3 ever. Very consistent. I like the feel of it, and goes right around 400 feet dead straight, which is very useful on tour. My final mid-range in my bag is the Glow MD3. I did have another Iron Samurai 3. I had the perfect combo. I had this overstable one, and then I had an understable one. And then, like a doofus, just dropped it in the water somehow, and it rolled and got up in the water. Never saw it again. It was a raging river. So very sad story. That thing was amazing. But until I find another one of those, I just got this one in the bag. It's pretty beat up, pretty scuffed, and so I can get a little bit of a hyzer flip on it. This one's nice for tunnel shots if I need hyzer. Go dead straight, kind of ride to right. It pretty much never fades out, so it's consistent in that way. But also for a forehand, if I need a straight forehand through a tunnel to flip up flat, I'll do that. But primarily backhand. My favorite shot with it's probably slight hyzer out of the hand, pops it to flat, and kind of just like dives into the ground a little bit. It's very consistent, about 380, and yeah, I've been liking this one. That's gonna do it for my mid-ranges. Moving on to the fairway drivers, we have the Neo SPLICE. Now this thing is amazing. My favorite part about the SPLICE is you can't find a bad one because they all do the exact same thing. They all just go up, dive down to the ground, and are very overstable. For me, it's a distance control disc. If it's super windy out, I need to scramble. Right about, my max is probably 370 with it, but I stick it to usually 350 to 330 when I'm throwing the SPLICE. But I throw it both ways, forehand, backhand. I try to chop it over. It always swoops back. If I need to go up and over something, I'll do it. A grenade that I need to go straight up and down, I'll throw the SPLICE. Got a pretty cool die from Mike Kemp on it. So yeah, I've been loving this one. And probably won't need to replace it anytime soon unless I lose it. I actually did throw in the water in Norway, but kind sir gave it back to me. Thank you. Love the SPLICE. Next up for the fairway drivers is the FD3. This is probably my favorite FD3 ever made, is the Horizon FD3. They have a little bit of dome on them, and they're extremely overstable, but the dome helps to have glide. And so when I throw an anhyzer, it swoops out of the flight, gets that reliable fade. I throw this forehand and backhand, at least 3-4 times around, and just so good. It's just been so consistent, hasn't left my bag the entire season. The SPLICE, Horizon FD3 combo is one of the best in the game, I feel like. I have every shot. If I need a little more push, a little more glide, I'll throw this one. And then if I need a little more spike, more dump, I'll throw the Splice. But this FD3 has been amazing. You'll see me throw it everywhere. I either have a red one, a pink one, or a blue one in the bag at all times. It kind of just depends on if it's beat up or how I'm feeling that week. And thank you, Alden, for this drawing. This is not even a stamp. Alden just drew this with a marker. It's pretty cool. Next up, I have the Glow FD3. This is my first ace with Team Discmania. I got it in Florida at this course, about 330 foot with a sidearm shot. And that's what I use it for, sidearm FD3. I do throw it a lot for backhands as well, but for sidearms, it's been amazing. A little bit like that tactic in a way where it goes pretty straight, and this one carries about to 350 if I need it on a forehand line. But it just helps shape shots. It really, like, when I need that shot to really hold over just a little bit more, that's what I pull out this disc for. Joey Tamale, my friend, gave it to me. Now, I'll tell you, I'm a 49ers fan, I'm not a Vikings fan. That's what the disc had on it, I'm sorry. But yeah, this one's been good. It's been getting nice and beat up, backhands, it's dead straight and then fades a little bit. But yeah, it's been very useful. It's always good to have it. It's just one of those discs that I see a shot, I know it's perfect for that shot. And so this one also has been in my bag the entire season so far. Next up is the PD. This is a C-Line 1. You've probably seen this one thrown a ton. It's got the red and the yellow dye on it. Now, they're not all the same. I did lose my original one. This one's pretty similar. It's a little more overstable. This one I can throw flat. I can get this to go 500 feet. One of my favorite shots I threw with it is at the European Open this year, hole 15 at Tampere, the Monster. I was getting about 500 feet in the woods, just throwing on Anheuser, having it glide right the entire flight, and then barely fade out at the end. It just goes so far for having that kind of fairway driver rim. That's why the PD, I think, is one of the best discs ever made. So unique. There's not really anything like it on the market right now. Just an amazing disc. I throw it everywhere. I do throw it forehand if I need something a little straighter than that FD3. Not a ton, but really this thing's useful when we play these long wooded courses. Yeah, just good to have it. Just so amazing, so workable. I can throw it 300 feet, I can throw it 500 feet, anywhere in between. Every angle just holds it. And my final fairway driver is the Forge Function. Now this has been a game changer. I started bagging this one a couple months ago. You know, before this was out, people used kind of the Essence for the roller or like a D-Line FD, but this is, for me at least, my favorite version of those. Pretty new out, and it's just very understable. This thing is so fun to throw. You know, if I have a downhill hole, I'll just throw it on a spike hyzer like that, and I get to slow flip the whole way and go like 500 feet, no problem. If you're lower arm speed, this is one of the best discs in the world. You should definitely try it out. For me though, my most used shot with it is the roller. The best part about it is you don't even have to throw it like a roller. You just throw it like a backhand, throw it nice and flat, and it gets to the perfect cut roller angle. And I can get 500 feet out of it. It's not even that flippy when you're rolling it, but it always consistently lands on its back. And so, yeah, if I have a fairway with short grass, with some out of bounds, or I need to shape a little bit of a line, I'll throw it on a backhand roller, flat, hit, and it's consistent every single time. It always just folds on its back. And just so awesome. I would definitely recommend looking at the Function. I don't even think it matters what your arm speed is, you're gonna find a shot with it. All right, that's it for my fairway drivers. Moving on to the distance drivers. I always carry a very overstable S-Line PD2 in my bag. This one's got a little bit of dome on it. I wish it was a little domier, but it's very overstable. One of my most used distance drivers. I just throw it out there in the wind, flat, and it goes about almost 500 feet and kind of just dumps at the end. Good for forehands, just a very overstable driver, not too much more to say about it. Just reliable when I need it, and when it's windy outside or we got lots of OB on tour and I just want to place it in the fairway, I'll probably throw this one. Next up, I have another S-Line PD2. This one's a little flatter and it's also a little bit straighter. And so It's a better forehand PD2. I'm a huge fan of the PD2 for forehands. I think it feels very comfortable. And my favorite part about the PD2 is they all are very controllable. They only go a certain distance and they kind of just fall out of the sky. And so on tour, it's been so helpful because we need to just land and bounce. But this one, yeah, dead straight pretty much for a PD2. I can get a little bit of stability out of it. But backhands go straight, fades a little bit, forehand fades a little bit more, but I get a lot more push than that PD2. Got this one from, I believe, Matt Schlabach, my caddy, formerly owned by Matt Polson. And so, yeah, huge shout out. Got it stamped with the Huck, and yeah, this one's been awesome. All right, my next distance driver is the S-Line DD3. Now, I had 3 of these that my caddy had, actually. I got all 3 from him. He got one more back. I gave one to Alden when he joined the team. He's been throwing it all over the place, and then I just started throwing this one. But this one's been really awesome. It's probably my furthest flying disc in my bag right now. It definitely is. If I need a forehand to carry really far, I'll throw this one. I get a good push out of it with a reliable fade. And then backhand, throw it slight hyzer, pops up to flat, rides right, gets a fade. It's just the perfect distance disc right now. It's got a pretty decent dome on it. And yeah, this one's been pretty useful. If I just need a bomb, or I want to kind of start a distance shot on hyzer, get some flip up and glide it left while pushing left, staying in the fairway, it's been huge for that. So you'll probably see this one being thrown quite a bit. Next up, we have the Color Glow Horizon C-Line Cloud Breaker Gannon Buhr. This one is the blue and green with the white stamp. It looks super clean. This run of Cloud Breaker is one of the more understable runs of Cloud Breaker. They all have about the same profile, that little bit of dome on them. But for my arm speed, I can start them out on a hyzer. They pop up to flat, ride a little bit right, and kind of carry the whole way right. If you're kind of in that 350 to 400 range, you can throw them flat, maybe get some turn out of them, but get a nice pushing fade. They're gonna have that overstable dumping fade like some other Cloud Breakers have had in the past. The Color Glow is a little bit softer, so if you're a fan of that, I know a lot of people are. Yeah, and so for forehand shots with the Cloud Breaker, I can get a little bit of flip up on it. It goes pretty far for my forehand, and then backhand, like I said, kind of just drifts right the entire flight. Yeah, if you're a slower arm speed and you're looking to get some distance out of a driver, this is a great option. And yeah, nice softer plastic, so if it gets cold outside or you just enjoy that little bit of a softer feel, digging your thumb into the plastic, you're gonna like these. They're definitely bombers. And my last distance driver in my bag is just a stock S-Line DD3. This was given me by a fan, I believe, at the beginning of the year when I joined the team. I got sent a box. I can't remember what box it came in, but you know, I didn't really like it too much because it was too flippy for me for just a normal driver shot. But then I started throwing it for rollers, and I can throw this thing 650 feet for a roller. It's crazy. I throw it flat just like my function, gets to the perfect roller angle and just goes. I've also been throwing it for some backhands that I start on a knife hyzer that flip up the whole way and even push right. But the other shot is like a forehand in the woods that I need to kind of sauce and just flip it, have it turn a little bit. Very similar to the Color Glow Cloud Breaker. This one's a little more understable, but if you're just looking for a nice stock distance driver, the S-Line DD3 is very consistent. They're all a little bit understable for me, and if you're a little bit slower arm speed around that 400 foot range, 350 maybe, you can get probably your max distance out of something like this or something like the DD1. Very similar discs. It kind of just depends on whether you like the hand feel or not. But yeah, my final disc in my bag. Finally, some of the accessories I carry when I play. Obviously my chalk bag. These are awesome. This is the Chump chalk bag, so go check them out. 3D printed mini. I forget who made this for me, but I've been using it the entire season. It's been awesome. It looks very cool too. Sharpie, just in case, and a rangefinder. Now, I do rangefind a lot of shots. I've gotten a little bit addicted to it. I just feel uncomfortable if I don't. And so if I'm, see a basket in the middle of the fairway, we'll shoot it. If it's 330, I know, perfect, my MD5 goes that far. If it's 500, I know, perfect. PD2, throw as hard as I can. And so it's actually been pretty useful this year. I can kind of dial in a distance with a disc in my bag, and it makes it a little bit easier. I think for me, it's mostly just a confidence thing. It just gives me a little bit reaffirming knowledge that I know I'm throwing the right disc in the right shot here. That's gonna do it for my 2024 in the bag. Hope you guys enjoyed. Put in the comments below what you think I should maybe bag next year. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Looking forward to the rest of this season. It's been an amazing season so far. And you know, if I can pick up a couple more wins, I'd be pretty satisfied. But yeah, first season with Discmania, it's been amazing. Couldn't ask for anything better. And we got some pretty cool releases coming out very soon.